So, Ciaran, thank you for joining me. As I said,
thanks for having me.
We've went video for the first time, so like I say, groundbreaking stuff. I'm hoping this is just a bit of an opportunity for you to chillax and reflect. So we want to, I want to get the backstory to the man involved, and then go from there. We did send you the Keepie Uppies questions, which we'll look at, and Tots, who's my co-host, who's let me down today. He's out in the piss. He's got a few questions, etc. So we'll rattle on.
Better with him.
Absolutely. So before we get down to the nitty gritty and the fight for rights in Portadown, throw us back. Where's your love from football start? Who's your biggest influence to date? And first and foremost, what football team do you support? See where this conversation goes.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I'm a Man United fan from a sin, so yeah, not too good at the minute. But as regards your own football, like many years ago, my father actually was a founding member of Annagh United.
Yeah.
And listen, I didn't think I really had a choice. I was kind of brought up in it, and from that, just then and a wee bit later on, I had been playing for the reserves, and I'd done my cruciate, and I never played again, and went straight into the managing stroke coaching side of it.
Yeah.
And took the reserve team then for a couple of years, and then an opportunity came around with the first team, and just the position they were in at the time. I think they were really struggling to get anybody to come in. The transfer window had closed. They were left with 4 or 5 players, and I think it was really the only option was for me to step into that and try and take as many reserve team players in, you know.
Yeah, okay. Well, listen, you're taking us straight into that. They're moving into the management issue. So how did the appointment come about in 2017? And did you always have it in the back of your mind to go into management? It's one of Tots'
Yeah. So just kicking on from that then. So look, probably did always want to go into management, but didn't expect to go in so early. The injury probably forced me into it more than anything. And to be honest with you, I didn't think I would be managing either, probably at the level that I've came to. But as I say, I was kind of just thrown at the deep end that year. That when the previous manager had left, a lot of the players had went to Mid Ulster. You know, they can sign players outside of the transfer window, so it left the Annagh in a really, really hard position where they had been left really with no team, and they couldn't sign anybody. So as I say, then the natural progression then was, because I was the reserve team manager, I was put in the end of the first team and said, look, here's what you have, bring what you have from the reserves and get us through to January. And that's really what we've done. Come the January, then we were able to sign enough players that really saved the club, to be honest with you, from relegation to Mid Ulster football.
So it definitely took a young, energetic man to keep the ship afloat at that stage.
Yeah, well, look, as I say, I think just the likes of myself, who has been about the Annagh a long time, so I was going in with my heart in my sleeve, you know. So I was passionate about making sure that the club stayed up. Again, as I say, at the time, I just thought it was an interim thing, but look, we done well, and then the club said, "Why don't you just stay on and do it then?" And we did, and from that we've kicked on, and here we are.
So how was the transition to first team manager for you, mentally and physically? As you talked about the challenges it brought, but
yeah, mentally initially it was a struggle. It was a struggle because you were going through weeks. Honestly, like, if I remember, we were going to some games with literally 11 players, and this is like the Premier Intermediate League we're talking about. Like, it is a decent standard. We're not talking about, you know, Reserve Division 4, you know, but you know, so it was tough, and you were coming out of games like we were beat by, I think Queen's beat us 1x7, and it's hard to see getting beat every week is tough. So January couldn't come quick enough, and listen, I'm quite sure I still say it, the Big John Combry that we signed Big John in October, but he couldn't actually. We signed him thinking he could play because he was an unattached pro, but somewhere along the line he had signed for a wee local club, Portadown or somebody,
As
on
we
an
do.
amateur.
As we're always guilty of doing that.
which meant he couldn't actually play the end of January, and and he's probably sitting himself watching, until Johnny, what have I done?
What
And
have we
then
done?
to be very fair to him, he could have said no, I'm going to change my mind, but he stuck by us, and listen, he's our top coach now, and it's a good story probably for him as well.
Yeah. So you're 5 years deep. That's about right, is it?
Yeah, that's about right. Yeah.
And you talked about your initial firefighting. So you done the firefighting initially, and then sort of kick in this 5 years down the line. Once you got to that January transfer window, did you have a plan in place when you were given the reins?
Yeah, so obviously the plan at that time was just to get as many players in as I could to keep the club up. I was quite a lucky position too. I'm very good friends with Mark McAllister. He's obviously played Irish League football. He was available at the time. Through him, obviously, over the years, I've become very friendly with Michael Galt. He was available, and that was the kind of caliber of players we were able to get in. And then from we're getting Conor Hagan, and there's just plenty more that I'm probably missing out on here. But yeah, we were able to actually get a really good team together, and but we were that far behind. It took all the wins to get us over the line. I remember starting down, actually, it was a couple of games to go, and Donegal Celtic were beating Bombridge Town 1-0, and then right at the 90th minute, we were getting beat by Distillery. If that had stayed like that, we were gone.
Yeah. And
the next thing came through, Bombridge Town equalised, and then a minute later, Bombridge Town got a winner. They scored 2 goals in injury time. Honestly, that was the difference. That was the difference of us dropping and staying up.
Yeah.
It's just fine margins. Football's fine margins.
Oh, we all know that. But in fairness to you, and you mentioned the players, so you have assembled a lovely blend of players too. You have the experience in Henderson, Ryan Harper, and some excellent young players. And obviously the MGA, some of them approaching their peak. Oren Rogers is a player of mine. I coached Oren as a kid. He played, it's probably his first senior football for Oxford Sunnyside whenever I was in charge. But again, a big Lurgan connection there at Annagh. A few Lurgan men knocking about. Yeah. And so how important was it to get that mix and helping the team achieve, your top 2 finish?
So that certainly, that's one thing we've learned over the last 5 years, that whilst the experienced players are brilliant, you need energy, you need pace, and you need hungry young players that want to get to where Niall Henderson and your Ryan Harper was. And that's what we have found has worked for us, and it'll be the plan going forward that we will continue to sign a young player for every senior player that we sign. This is again bringing it back in the next question. So give us an insight. How do you recruit a player? Obviously, you want somebody with the right qualities and skill, but you also want somebody with the right personality. How do you go about personality is a big thing for us. The team camaraderie and a good dressing room is huge, and I think it's been worth umpteen points to us this season. When we've been down the dumps at half time, as I say, they're coming in as a group of nearly like a group of mates and digging each other out. There's no bad apples in there, and everybody's pulling the right direction, and that has been huge for us. And for boys like myself, what is the normal process to approaching players? Would you go out yourself and actively seek them out? Do you have a recruitment team or? No, usually we would do it ourselves. We've seen the player, or obviously, listen, people always hear about players coming available, and then you'll do your homework. And again, it just depends on where they're coming from. For talk's sake, if it was a loan player from Dungannon, you'd be ringing Dean Shields and speaking to him directly and asking him, can you help us out, or is there anything available? For somebody unattached, or we just ring them direct. Or generally speaking, I would say 99.9% of managers will try and sound out if the player's interested. First and foremost, if he is, do go around the right channels, ring the manager, and see if we can get permission to speak to them. And to be honest, most managers, including myself, especially if it's a player from a lower level, want to see players coming up.
Yeah.
So, we're all realistic, and I mean, if the bigger clubs come knocking, you can't hold people back.
No, absolutely, 100%. And in the same sense, the bigger clubs have players that are in a development process, and you're the platform,
Yep.
to help them progress as well. And it benefits your club, I suppose, long term as well.
Absolutely. No, it's getting the right mix. You don't want too many loan players in your books either, and then come in January and they're all recalled or something, you're left stuck. But at the same time, 2 or 3 that are in the development process again are trying to prove a point. Yeah. So they're hungry. Hungry, and that's where you sometimes can get a wee bit of quality as well, because they're out to prove a point and they want to go back to their Linfield or Glenavon or Dungan or wherever it is.
But then, like any footballer, happy to be playing football as well, where they might go to them other clubs and sit and watch. So
exactly. Listen, there's absolutely nothing beats playing football. So, it gets, at the under 20s level, I'm not a big fan of under 20s football, by the way, but really at 18, if you're not really breaking or playing every week, and first, I would be saying you should be going out on loan to a Championship or PAL club or Mid-Ulster or wherever it may be.
Playing against men,
play that men's football, get the minutes under your belt and go back again. There's plenty of time. We could name, especially in recent years, the amount of players that have stayed and played Irish League football to the 22, 23, and then they've got their move across the water. So
what seems to be the trend, which is a better approach. You say they're going over there as men.
Going over there as men, developed, and I just think the process has changed for the better. Yeah,
brilliant. So listen, thanks for the insight there. But let's talk about this season, the season of seasons. So you won promotion back into the Championship in 1920 season. 2021 was non-existent, obviously with COVID and whatnot. But I'm sure there's a lot of belief in your squad. But did you honestly think you would finish in the top 2 this year?
Absolutely not. To be quite honest with you, probably deep down I thought we're a good enough team that if we finish top 6, it would be a super season.
Mm-hmm.
But to be honest, we're going into the Championship unknown, and the ultimate plan and genuine plan was to stay in the league and then evaluate what we needed.
Yeah.
To challenge it at the top end of the table and go and try and sign them players this summer. So we're probably punching above our weight a wee bit, if I was being honest. So, but listen, as I said, the group that we have, they back each other, they believe in each other, and as I say, the camaraderie's been unbelievable. And listen, the pressure's off them. Whatever happens now, they've had a super season.
Absolutely.
And they'll be going into this playoff, absolutely going to enjoy it and believing in themselves that they can win it. I have no doubt that they will.
And what was there a standout game on the season that you thought to yourself, Jesus, we have a chance here?
There's a standout game in the season where I thought it was a turning point for us in terms of shape and certain players were playing. We were actually, believe it or not, we got beat. We were beat 1-0 by Ballinamallard up there.
Yeah.
But we just couldn't seem to get a we're winning one week and getting beat the next week, and just couldn't seem to get any consistency. And we changed certain players in certain positions, and we changed shape that we were playing. And from that, I think don't get me wrong, we've had a few losses in there and patches, but from that we really kicked on, and even some of the players that we moved got better.
Yeah.
And that was I think it was a turning point in our season.
Brilliant. And again, reflective of your season, here's a fact that Tot Stats, my co-host who's out the other night. So Annagh United are the highest goal scorers of all the teams in the top 3 divisions. Does that demonstrate your football philosophy and having a really attack-minded team? Could attack be your best form of defence against Portadown, who've conceded 67 goals this season?
Yeah, it's funny. When we went into the season, I was actually more concerned about the front. I thought our back five would got it spot on. We went through pre-season, kept clean sheets against Koreans, and we hardly, the pre-season was unbelievable, and we thought we were sort of, we were concerned about we weren't scoring enough goals, and for half of the season it just went the complete opposite. We were scoring goals for fun and just couldn't seem to get the back organised, or we were just leaking goals, and yeah, it was a wee bit disappointing, and we couldn't put our finger on it as to why we were leaking so many goals, because we were still winning games. We were scoring 3, but still conceding 2, and ultimately, look, it has cost us points, and it's cost us points. And if if I had right, we probably could have been top of the league. But listen, we are where we are. We're happy where we are, and it's the front, the way we play. Yeah, we like to play with pace up front, and I do think that the boys will cause Portadown. I think with the pace they might be a wee bit frightened, but at the same time, Portadown, like Adam Sally, is a good player.
Yeah,
he's a good striker, and we need to be on our guard. There's no doubt. Listen, Portadown are going to be up for it. Historically, I think the championship team has only won once in the playoffs, so the stats that way are against us as well. And listen, the Portadown players aren't playing Premier League level for nothing. They're good quality players. So this is our first year in the championship. We've still a lot of young players who this is their first season ever playing at that level, and they're going to come up against quality. And as I say, just if we can stay in the game as long as possible, I think we'll give ourselves a hell of a chance. But listen, we'll be going for it, and we have nothing to lose.
So, are you yourself excited about the game? Is it an excitement, or is it?
As I said, last Friday night, I couldn't speak to anybody. I couldn't even look at anybody. I was so nervous about that game last week. But now I'm totally relaxed. Now ask me again Tuesday night. I'm relaxed, but for now I'm certainly relaxed about it.
And you have a bit of an inside line. John Convery knows Portadown a wee bit inside out. Some of your players would know Portadown. Is that an advantage to you, or?
Yeah, listen, I think football changes very quickly. So, I would say probably for a lot of our players that have played for Portadown, I think somebody told me we've 9 ex-Portadown players in the squad.
Yeah.
So from that point of view, they'll all be motivated, self-motivated.
Yeah, exactly that.
To prove a point. So hopefully I don't need to give them too much motivation, but look, it's a big occasion, and they just need to go and enjoy it, and have no regrets. And
is there much of a media circus in Portadown? Obviously, I'm sitting here in Lurgan. Is there much of a spin on the derby?
Funny. I thought it would have been. I thought we bought the Portadown Times today for the first time in a long time, expecting, but it wasn't. It wasn't a whole pile, and then
just bring it on then. Bring it on and write your own headlines. No,
brilliant. Yeah. We're looking forward to it. There's going to be a big crowd at it, which should be good. And look, as I say, hopefully a bit of a payday for the club, which is the main thing.
And that's it, isn't it? It's about progress and continue to kick on and staying at that level. You got a taste for it. You want to stay there.
Get a few quid in, get me a striker next year.
Aye, that's it. Right, listen, we'll park the talk for the derby for the minute, and we'll relax now. And this will maybe help you reminisce and throwback. So the Keepie Uppies questions that I sent you, maybe a lot of people found these difficult. So it's players you played with or players you're managed. So at your leisure, I'll run through them here, and you can kind of get back to me. It'll probably throw back a few football stories, tales for us too. Yeah. So the best team you've ever played for?
It's a funny one, because you always remember playing in teams that win things. So if it was going down that route, I won a league title for the reserves down in the club for the first time in I don't know how many years. So I have memories with that team. But when I was younger, we had a wee group at Armagh City, and we played together for 3 or 4 years, and just as a team, you know, it was brilliant. And as I said, we didn't win an awful lot. It was nothing to do with that. It was just we created lifetime friends, you know, and we're still, you know, the boys, you know, last Christmas, I think it was, a Christmas before, maybe, you know, there was a bit of a fundraiser in Armagh, and all the boys met up again, and that wee team, you know, for me, has always kind of stuck with me.
Brilliant. That's to say your first introduction to football, and football friends for life. Brilliant. So your best captain?
Best captain, like, I have to go with our current captain, Henderson. Niall's been there with us now for, I think he's there 3 or 4 years, and look at Niall's a winner, and he demands off everybody, demands off us as coaches, and demands off the players. But the big thing about Niall is he'll not ask any of the players to do something that he doesn't do, and he sets the bar high. And Niall's been a great captain for us, to be honest.
Great. Lurgan offers a whole lot. Best goal scorer?
Another Lurgan man. What was that one? Best goal scorer?
Best goal scorer, yeah.
That was a tricky one. That was a really, really tricky one. You know what? You know, Shea Campbell over the years has been a prolific goal scorer. But again, there was a young lad at that wee Armagh City team, and I think he's still playing, Philip Harvey. And Philly he was one of these lads, he could take it or leave football.
Right.
But he literally scored goals for fun, and he could have played so much higher, and he was happy just to play with his friends, and I think he's still playing with his friends and scoring goals. So
there's a lot to be said for that sometimes, isn't there? Just go out with a smile on your face and do it for the love of doing it.
It's the same, but there's another young lad played for the Annagh Reserve, Mark Hahn, and I see there on Facebook every week he's still banging in goals for Portadown BBOB, and he's, you know, so yes, there is boys out there that just have a knack for scoring.
Absolutely. All right, best touch.
Best touch. Best touch, I would have to say Rory McDonald. Rory might win a few of these, but anyway, yeah. Rory McDonald, another Lurgan man, isn't it?
Another Lurgan man. Brilliant. All right, best goalkeeper.
Best goalkeeper. Again, our current goalkeeper, Owen Hughes, has been as good a keeper that I've seen, and more he's matured into a good goalkeeper.
Yeah.
This year we brought in Mark Hulley, a goalkeeping coach, and Mark has brought him on leaps and bounds. Owen, he's on a pro contract with us, and last year there had been a few Premier League clubs inquiring about him, and again he stuck past, and he, you know, once he got a contract, he was happy to stay on and see it through, and he's really, really improved. Owen's good keeper.
Brilliant. All right, best defender.
Best defender, Lee Upton at the minute is absolutely. He's what a talent. What you know, he will make it 1,000,000%. He'll make it. I'd say in the Irish League, not a problem. Yeah. If he goes this year, possibly. He probably needs another year in the Championship. He's only turned 20.
Yeah.
Beast of a player.
Brilliant.
Super lad. First at training. Never misses. Ticks all the boxes.
Brilliant. That's what you want, a young footballer.
Yeah.
Best midfielder.
Best midfielder. Best midfielder, not necessarily that I've probably played with or managed, but certainly haven't watched that down over the years. Shimmy Heath, when he was there, was unbelievable. You know, when he dropped down out of the Irish League to come and play for Annagh, at that stage would have been mid-Ulster football, but as a young fella watching him, unbelievable.
Brilliant. All right, best striker.
Best striker. Oh, again, probably, consistently for scoring goals over the years, Shea Campbell has to be up there.
Yeah. Used to torment
Shea.
me as a young fella. Shea would have played for Orchard Youth in his youth, and we'd have been Goodyear, or then became Sunnyside, and he used to torment me. He was a tricky one.
Yeah, Shea, just consistency. Yeah. He's guaranteeing 20-25 goals every season.
Big thing. Brilliant. All right, best left foot.
Craig Taylor, bar none. Craig Taylor, bar none. Yeah, wand of a left foot.
Yeah, wand. Everybody always references a wand when they talk about the left foot. All right, best right foot.
I'll have to say Rory. Yeah, Rory McDonald. Yeah.
Brilliant. All right, best manager.
Again, I'm going to go back to my younger days, just for a number of reasons that Armagh City team, as I told you about. There's a man called Dingle Daly.
Right.
Managers from Armagh. And looking back at some of the things he done, like our group, all good lads, but we were rockets too, I suppose, at that age. And like Dingle took us to the Air tournament, took us to the Foyle Cup. Done everything. Brilliant. Everything for us, and just what a man. Yeah,
left an impression. And do you draw on any of the approaches from your old managers with your own approach?
Yeah, certainly some of them. I think the days of being able to, what's the word, just constantly give people the hairdryer treatment or talk down on them, or the football has certainly changed, and there's been managers in the past and they took a different approach to it, and I think it certainly worked, and that's kind of the approach that we have. We try to work with people. We know who we can shout at, who we need to put the arm around, and learning that about individual people is a big side of the game now. Yeah. Because I just think, players at our level are part-time, so they've a lot going on in their lives at home, and sometimes they walk in and you don't know what they've been through that day or what's going on, and if you just stand and go through them for a shortcut about something on a pitch, sometimes isn't just the best way to do it.
Absolutely. So man management would be one of your strengths, I would say.
Man management, I think, is massive. And I keep saying that I've had to do the courses, C license, B license, A license, and I've said in every single course I've been on, this is a coaching course. I'm a manager. Yeah. I think they're two completely different things.
100% agree.
And that's the way we have set up it. I think I've took one training session all year. Yeah. I'll leave that to John and Matchy, and the man management side then's left to me and Simon. So I think it's maybe something that the courses, I've said it before. I think the courses really need to look into it. When it gets to a certain, don't get me wrong, the courses are brilliant and they give you good knowledge and all the rest. But I think at a certain point of the course, they need to diverse a wee bit and have your manager's side to it and have the coach's side to it.
Yeah, I agree. It's a lot of life skills required to deal with people, and to be able to get an education in that as well would go a long way. It's not just about chasing the ball around the pitch. There's so much more to it. On and off the pitch.
Yep.
All right. No, brilliant. All right. Which player loves a hard challenge?
Ryan Harper.
Still.
Yeah, still hasn't changed.
Brilliant. All right. Who's the quickest player you played with or managed?
Craig has to be up there. Craig Taylor's lightning quick. Very, very quick. Yeah, Craig's up there.
Right. Best all-rounder?
When I would say best all-rounder, at the minute, I'll go for wee Pixie. And, good player, good in the changing rooms. Knows the game. He's coaching as well, and just an all round good player and good to have about the club.
Brilliant. All right, last couple left here, and then we'll wrap it up with Wheeler Burba. Player that got better with age.
That's a tough one. A player that got better with age. You caught me in the hop with that one.
Well, if it pops into your mind before we finish up, you can let me know.
Yeah.
Player who always gave 100%. That's the last of the questions.
Well, if he doesn't get a mention, because every interview or podcast that he's not mentioned, he's straight on to the chat. So I'll say Jared Kerr for that one.
Jared Kerr. Very good. Very good. Brilliant. We have a couple of just one more controversial question. Not that it's controversial, it's just your opinion on the controversy. And then we can, I'd say, just sign you off with well wishes. Just let me find this. Where'd he go? So the Wheeler Burba. So this, I don't know, Sean Lavery. Sean Lavery was on the podcast previously. Sean played a bit for Glenavon and went over to Leeds and stuff as a kid. But when he played for us, we referenced him as he was like Burba that played for Man United. Minimum effort, maximum impact. So we named this section after him. But anyway, all it is a bit of a question to get your opinion on. And again, maybe touch on Manchester United before we leave. So there were some recent controversial comments about girls or ladies football. How impressed have you been by the development of girls and ladies football in the last 10 years? And how important is it that it continues to grow?
Yeah, listen, I think certainly it has. I think even in this last 2 years, it has grew massively. I think it was a slow process up until then, but it's certainly getting a lot of attention. And look, if there's a demand there for it, then I don't see why why they shouldn't why they shouldn't get the coverage that they get. As regards the equal pay and that, I think it's that goes a wee bit too far in my opinion. But certainly I'm all for ladies football, absolutely. And I think it's great. I just think any football club in general, the more people that you can get into the club, whether it be ladies or youth or men's or whatever, absolutely get them in and let them play.
And I see with your Annagh Youth setup is successful as well. It was one of the underage teams that won a league recently as well. Yeah,
the under 16s there. Mega Willis's wee team, Stevie Short, and then Shima Heath actually is their coach. So some really good players, some talented players coming through. We'll have 2 or 3 in the squad tomorrow. One of them actually be starting tomorrow. So big future ahead of some of them in that wee squad, and right down through a few of them with finals next week as well. Nigel's done a great job there with the youth. That's really developed. Because I think he's well over 200 kids, and again, I think there's a girls section down there tonight on a Friday night, and he's right down now. My own wee lad, he has started. He's 4, and he's down on a Friday night now as well. So that's how young. Brilliant. So it's really good, as I say, from 4 to 44. If you can get veterans teams, get girls teams, whatever you can get the more people you can get about a club, the better.
Big time. I 100% agree. We actually at Oxford had started over 35s team this year, and it was a massive success. And like yourselves, we have the little stars at under 6s or whatever. So
brilliant.
It's all, and you guys you're spearheading it from the front. You're giving these kids now a pathway to the highest level possible.
Yeah. I think it's important that you do try and give the youth as much chance as you can, because you said the more they play, even for Michael now in the summer, when he's going to the same players, he can turn around and say, well, Sam, Tiernan, Adam, Joel, Ruben, whoever he could name. I think he could name 6 or 7 players who have all played in our first team this year, and that leaves it easier for him then, whenever he's trying to get a player over the line.
Oh, fantastic. Listen, you're clearly Mr Annagh. You've been involved for the club from a young age. You're you have your hand in from the first straight through to the kids. Ciaran, let me thank you for your time. Friday night.
Thanks for having me.
You were able to reminisce a little bit, hopefully maybe detract from the nerves or whatever you want to call it. Tuesday night, just give us a rundown. Tuesday night and then Friday night, is it?
Tuesday night, yeah, we're home. It's pay at the gate for anybody that wants to come over. Quarter 8 kick-off, and Shamrock then is on the Friday night. They're doing a free entry as well. So yeah, I hope we can put on a show and still be in the game for the Friday night game. It'll be massive.
Absolutely.
But look, as I say, we're going with no pressure and going to enjoy it. And if we get there, brilliant. If we don't, we'll go again next year.
Well, that's it. You're making history every time you step onto the field here. So let me wish you the best of luck, mate. I really appreciate your time. And
I appreciate you having me. Thanks a million.
Good man. Cheers.
Cheers.
Again,
Thank
soon.
you.
All the best.
No problem. Thanks a million. Bye-bye.
Good luck.